Imagine it's midnight. You're completely alone. The power suddenly goes out. Every light disappears. Your room hasn't changed. Your house hasn't changed. Nothing has moved. Yet somehow, your heart starts beating faster. You stare into the darkness, waiting, listening for something. But what? There are no lions hiding in your bedroom. No wolves outside your window. No predators waiting behind your door. So why does your brain still whisper, "Don't move"? Because the fear you're feeling is over 200,000 years old. Tonight, we're going back to a time when the dark wasn't just scary. It was a death sentence. For most of human history, night belonged to something else. When the sun disappeared, humans became one of the weakest creatures on Earth. Our eyes couldn't see very far. We couldn't run as fast as a cheetah. We couldn't smell danger like wolves. We couldn't hear the silent footsteps of a hunting lion, but our predators could. While humans struggled to see a few meters ahead, big cats could see through the darkness. Hyenas hunted in coordinated packs. Snakes disappeared beneath the grass. Every shadow could be your last. Today, darkness is mostly harmless. You switch off the lights, go to bed, and wake up safely the next morning. But your brain still behaves as if it's sleeping on the African savanna. Because evolution doesn't forget. It remembers every night our ancestors barely survived. Imagine standing on the African savanna 100,000 years ago. The sun is beginning to disappear behind the horizon. For a few minutes, everything is beautiful. The sky glows orange, birds fly home, the air becomes cooler. Then, the light fades. And everything changes. The world becomes quieter. The sounds become stranger. The same grass that looked harmless a few moments ago now hides invisible danger. You hear something move. Your eyes search the darkness, but they can't find anything. That's because humans never evolved to dominate the night. We evolved to survive the day. Lions can see several times better than humans in low light. Owls can detect tiny movements in complete darkness. Even wolves can track prey using senses far beyond ours. Humans had almost none of those advantages. At night, our greatest weapon disappeared. Our vision. And once you can't see the danger, your imagination begins creating it. That's why every shadow starts looking like a predator. Every broken branch sounds like footsteps. Every gust of wind feels like something breathing behind you. Your brain isn't trying to scare you. It's trying to keep you alive. Because for your ancestors, assuming something was hiding in the darkness was often smarter than assuming nothing was there. One mistake could end your entire bloodline. Then, something extraordinary happened. Humans discovered a weapon that no predator expected. It wasn't stronger muscles. It wasn't sharper teeth. It wasn't speed. It was fire. And for the first time in human history, the darkness was no longer completely in control. Fire didn't just keep humans warm. It changed the balance of nature forever. For millions of years, night belonged to predators. Then one small group of humans gathered around a burning fire. Something remarkable happened. The lions stopped coming closer. The wolves stayed back. Predators that had ruled the darkness for millions of years suddenly became cautious. Not because humans had become stronger, but because they had brought the sun back after sunset. That small circle of light became humanity's first safe zone. Inside the firelight, children could sleep, families could eat, stories could be shared. Outside the firelight, death still waited. Imagine standing just a few steps beyond the flames. The warm light fades, the sounds become louder, the darkness becomes endless. Somewhere a pair of glowing eyes watches you. Maybe it's a lion, maybe it's nothing. But your brain doesn't care. It prepares for the worst. Because evolution never rewarded people who ignored danger. It rewarded those who survived it. That's why your imagination becomes stronger in the dark. Your brain isn't trying to entertain you. It's trying to protect you. If you mistake a shadow for a predator, nothing happens. But if you mistake a predator for a shadow, you never get another chance. For thousands of generations, the safest choice was always to assume something was hiding. That instinct is still alive today. Even though most of us sleep inside locked homes, our brains still react as if we're sleeping beside a campfire surrounded by wilderness. Now think about children. Why are they almost always more afraid of the dark than adults? Because children haven't yet learned what is safe. Their brains rely almost entirely on instinct. Every dark hallway feels endless. Every open closet could hide something. Every strange sound feels real. As we grow older, logic becomes stronger. We learn that our bedroom isn't filled with predators, but the ancient survival system never completely disappears. That's why even adults sometimes leave a light on. That's why a strange noise at 3 a.m. immediately grabs your attention. That's why horror movies almost always happen at night. Because darkness removes the one sense humans trust the most. Vision. The less you can see, the more your brain starts filling in the missing pieces. And that's exactly what fear is. Not seeing a monster, but wondering if one might be there. Today, streetlights illuminate our cities. Security cameras watch our homes. Locked doors separate us from the outside world. Objectively, night has never been safer. Yet, millions of people still feel uncomfortable walking through a dark forest alone. Not because they're irrational, but because their brains are carrying memories written long before history. The darkness hasn't changed. We have. But evolution moves slowly. Your brain still remembers the nights when one careless step beyond the campfire meant you would never return. So the next time you find yourself staring into a dark room or feeling uneasy on an empty street at night, remember this: the fear isn't a flaw. It's an ancient survival instinct that protected your ancestors for hundreds of thousands of years. Without it, they might not have survived. And neither would you. Because in the end, humans aren't afraid of the dark itself. We're afraid of what the darkness once meant. And for most of human history, it meant one thing: death.